Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and, yeah, this final dream sequence, we're pretty much about to be caught up with every single event in Sora's life thus far, and, given all the events that have been surrounding Roxas so far, that can only mean one thing. It's the end that the moment has been prepared for. By the way, can I just say, I really dislike how Richard Epcar delivers these lines. Excuse me. I mean, granted, I don't expect him to deliver them with the same sort of veracity or tone that, Billy Zane did, but he goes for a bit more of a hammier interpretation, which, again, it does kind of work when you take into consideration what Ansem is meant to be, but at the same time, though, just listen for yourself.
With the power of darkness.
Again, if you remember back to the original cutscene of KH1, again, Billy Zane delivered those lines with more of like a desperation to finally see his perception of what Kingdom Hearts was meant to be realized, i.e. Kingdom Hearts' darkness. I don't know, the way that was delivered was just fucky.
Take care of her.
And of course, by take care of her, it's put her back on the island so Sora can chase his boyfriend. No, I'm not letting that go. By the way, on the off chance that future Solidus-Skully ends up covering 0.2 A Fragmentary Passage, take notice of Mickey's outfit from right over there. You notice he was wearing his classic Disney clothes. I'm sensing an impending retcon. But yeah, now we delve towards the tail end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and the events of life. They're catching up to us. And of course, things are getting mysterious here because what would have been covering Chain of Memories isn't going to be so, because again, if you'll remember Naminé's position, she said that Sora could either keep his old memories of Castle Oblivion, her, and, well, everything that happened in there, or again, he could basically just surrender those memories of Castle Oblivion and get his old life back. Something that was kind of important, because again, as seen before in the previous cutscenes with Ansem and Diz, yeah, everybody forgot about Sora, which is actually incredibly frightening. So, yeah, he kind of needed to get his old memories back if anything was ever gonna align, at least in terms of how the pieces, you know, like he said at the beginning of the game. Yours and mine. But yeah, the moment he steps inside those Castle Oblivion doors, that's where his memory begins to fade.
I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you.
Who are you?
Why? Why do you have the Keyblade?
Shut up! Man, I could not sleep last night. Guys? Huh?
You were never there, Roxas. You're fading away. As is the fate of all nobodies. Damn it! fucking Christopher Lee voice, I will master you. But to be serious for a moment, yeah, this is the part of the prologue which again does kind of get me to tear up the most, and at the same time is also a keen example of, well, say what you will about the prologue of Kingdom Hearts 2 for not jumping into the Sora, Donald, and Goofy action like what a lot of people would expect with the whole fantasy RPG thing, but the idea of living out this entire kid's life only to find his, again, the world around him quite literally falling to pieces as he comes to discover the truth about his origins, that's fucking tragic, man, and, God, it's heartbreaking.
Look at what it's come to. I've been given these icky orders to destroy you if you refuse to come back with me.
We're best friends, right?
Sure, but I'm not getting turned into a dusk for... Wait a sec. You remember now?
Yeah.
Great! But, you know, gotta make sure and all, so, what's our boss's name? Oh, can't believe this.
Yeah, there's no going back at this point. Again, 358 over 2 days does cover this in a bit more depth. No, you can't attack Axel. Whether that's because he has some sort of programming barrier to protect him, or something else entirely. I guess maybe Roxas is feeling regret for his old friend as he does start to remember bits and pieces of his life. Well, again, that's entirely up in the air, but yeah, I think even if Roxas did agree to go back with Axel to the organization, I sincerely doubt that the Superior or any of its other membership, like if Zoldan was to be believed, yeah, they'd probably just kill him on the spot, which, bullet dodged, debatably.
Roxas, to the mansion. The time has come.
Hayner! Pence! Olette!
Notice how he shouted out his girlfriend's name last, therefore deigning her as the most important one of the trio. And, yeah, time is completely frozen, without the use of stop magic, so again, I guess, Diz has some pretty powerful technology at his hands, almost as if he was a wise, sagely figure. Kinda similar to what Ansem used to be before he went completely off the rocker. By the way, Axel is bone thin, but hot damn does he have a nice ass. Well, it's kind of obscured by the organization clique, but hot damn, he's still got a fine bony ass that could cut through bank vaults.
The Roxas that I know is long gone. Fine. I see how it is.
So, yeah, Roxas, no, Axel is pretty much no longer going to be playing Mr. Nice Guy, so, look forward to seeing Psycho Assassin Boy back again. But even then, given all the struggle that Axel's probably going through having to eliminate his friends, it breaks my heart. And, like, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the jovial music, I guess if I was designing the game, I would have kept this place completely silent. Like, I mean, no battle music, no hub world music, as you're hearing right now. Again, I think that really would have sold the underlying creepy tension, because, like, I mean, you go around Twilight Town, there's nobody's popping up all over the place, there's no townspeople around, everybody is pretty much vacant. And again, it creates a really tense and disturbing atmosphere. Like, I mean, the only real thing I could compare this to is maybe, like, the Final Fantasy VIII time compression stuff. But, I mean, even still, like... It's really easy to see why Roxas became a fan favorite both in this game and pretty much for the rest of the series, but again, it's really saying something how Roxas made such an impression on a lot of people, despite, again, being associated with a prologue that not a lot of people were fans of. And even then, I wouldn't say appreciation really came around until people either became more fans of Roxas, or I suppose maybe for a video that the Gaming Brit made a couple of years ago talking about Kingdom Hearts 2's opening act. And again, I think he does make a lot of good points in that one, but yeah. I don't know, Roxas is a tragic character, but again, you can't help but love him. Or at least I do anyway. Also notice that, God, even in a fucking altered computer dimension, there's no fucking jobs around. Good. Talk about your crapshoot luck. But yeah, the tram's also gone. So even in false realities, the train schedule is still buggery beyond belief. And yeah, all the same, it's all going away now. This is also another opportunity that you can use to grind if you so choose, but really, I think at this point you're probably powerful enough to take on anything that comes your way. You do have a few boss fights here and there, but again, apart from that, you're not really going to be too fussed. And yeah, that was a one use of the potion, because we can't use magic yet, and we'll be getting cure magic soon enough. Although we are introduced to some other nobodies here, which give you a little bit more experience points, but yeah. I mean, I'd say you're probably better off grinding here if you want to grind, because of the fact that you have a greater expansive area, more nobodies to take down if you want to. But I mean, really, you don't really need to, is all I'm going to say at this point. I really thought I'd have a lot more to say at this point, so it's time for some Christopher Lee trivia. And this one is actually related to Kingdom Hearts 2, so it's not completely off topic, but yeah, apparently Christopher Lee insisted on doing a single read-through for Kingdom Hearts 2's lines, which, I mean, given the fact that he probably was the biggest name attached to the project, is understandable, because he is an actor who does not do takes. But yeah, even for a single read-through, like, I mean, the guy gives a fucking excellent performance, like, I mean, Christopher Lee is the absolute fucking standout in this game when he plays Diz, and goddamn, his voice is smooth as a baby's bottom. Which is why I'm still trying to master the voice, which I can't! It's beyond my ability. But of course, some of Roxas' memories are beginning to overlap with Sora's. And of course, he finally figures out what to do with a Keyblade. You know, namely, using it as a key. And I also have to wonder something about here, especially with Sora's model. I don't know if I pointed this out in the Kingdom Hearts 1 commentary, but yeah, I think that one was using, like, the original PS2 model, whereas the HD Funnel Mix versions tended to use the, like, the Dream Drop Distance recreation of Sora's Kingdom Hearts 1 model. Again, weird detail, I know, like, the only way you'd really be able to distinguish it is with the dark brown hair coloration, but I don't know. Interesting detail nonetheless, I suppose, and now it seems that Ansem is defending the castle, or the mansion, I should say. Of course, you can't go back and help them, because why don't I take a look inside? Also, kind of considering the whole Disney context, I'm kind of surprised I never slid in any Haunted Mansion stuff. I mean, at the risk of spoiling something, they do have an Eddie Murphy voice double on standby, so... Oh, actually, no, then again, I suppose they would have had to have, like, paid for use of his likeness, maybe? I don't know. Missed opportunity. To talk about the mansion itself for a moment, like, I mean, again, it seems to have a certain reputation for being creepy, and as we'll soon see, it seems to have been loaded out with, like, a lot of equipment and a lot of, well, like, a lot of magical stuff that I can't quite see Diz, Nomine, or Ansem really, having it all there to begin with. I mean, granted, some of the equipment, like, you know, the memory pods and a few other things might have been taken from Castle Oblivion, but I don't know. To me, well, you know, I'm just gonna come out and say it, I think it might have some sort of relevance for future plots, which again, might sound a bit far-fetched, considering that we're kind of done with the whole Xehanort saga and all this thing at this point, but I don't know. Like, I mean, if the life pod chamber from Kingdom Hearts 1 could have relevance as late into the game as Melody of Memory and Union Cross, who's to say that this old mansion in Twilight Town might not have some significance either? I mean, particularly with the room that we're about to visit shortly after we commit violence. Again, since it seems to bear resemblance to a certain familiar location in the series. And again, like, I mean, this is far removed from the land of departure, so... Again, who exactly put it here and why? Although, then again, I suppose this could also play into, I guess maybe Diz trying to accommodate Nomine so she could work on reconnecting Sora's memories. Which again brings up the, abuse subtext that I mentioned last time, because, yeah, if you read between the lines a little bit, considering Diz's hatred of nobodies and, well, the way he treats Nomine in the upcoming cutscene, yeah, let's... Good thing Riku was there, and that's all I'm gonna say on the matter for now.
Your mind's made up?
Why did the Keyblade choose me? I have to know.
You can't turn on the organization!
Organization 13. They're a bad group.
Bad or good? I don't know. They're a group of incomplete people who wish to be whole. To that end, they're desperately searching for something.
What?
Kingdom Hearts. Funny?
It's just... I think I've been running away from the question I really want to ask. What's gonna happen to me now? Just tell me that. Nothing else really matters anymore.
You are...
Nominate!
There's no knowledge that has the power to change your fate.
Even if it doesn't, I want to know. I have the right to know.
A nobody doesn't have a right to know. Nor does it even have the right to be.
But what is a nobody?
Diz, we're out of time. Too many nobodies.
Roxas. Nobodies like us are only half a person. You won't disappear. You'll be whole.
I'll disappear?
No further outbursts.
No, you won't disappear. You'll...
Wait!
Roxas, we will meet again. And then we can talk about everything. I may not know it's you, and you may not know it's me. But we will meet again. Someday soon. I promise.
Let her go! Nominate!
And, yeah, that's kind of a core example of what exactly Diz was doing with Naminé. Given the fact that this also is meant to be a Disney property, I don't think it went too far into what Diz actually did to her. But again, like, I mean, psychological abuse is a thing. Like, I mean, he might not have laid a hand on her, as far as we know, but given what Naminé suffered under Marluxia and Larxene, it's not impossible to consider what... You know what, that doesn't bear thinking about, but the point is, yeah. Basically, I'm also going to be spending a little bit more time, mainly to pontificate on a few things, like the earlier fan theory I had, and in turn, also, just taking a look at some old memories of Kingdom Hearts games of the past. Ostensibly, what Naminé's powers, and again, I'm pretty sure I probably went into this to Chain of Memories, but hey, could always use a refresher. Yeah, her artwork might be, well, let's be real here and say that it's kinda kappa shit, but again, this is pretty much what she does to reconnect people's memories. I mean, she is given the nickname the Memory Witch for a reason, given a makeup station where she probably can't even do anything with it. But yeah, she draws a picture of a scene, and those memories become intertwined, getting the Palpu fruit to Kairi, Roxas and Axel's time in the organization. Who are those other two figures? And again, this is basically what Naminé was doing. And again, another little detail you might notice, actually. Look at the command menu, and you'll see that it represents Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Again, the card system. We have the attack card, the magic card, the potions. Well, it would be if we had them unlocked, but we don't. But again, as I was saying before, like, I mean, again, the technology to use these sorts of rooms, again, you'll see in Birth by Sleep, is possible by Keyblade wielders to unlock facilities such as this. Mainly for locking them away from the presence of darkness and nobodies, which, again, is part of the reason why I think Diz had this place set up. But again, I feel like that might have been a bit beyond his power, because Diz, as far as we've seen, doesn't have the ability to use the Keyblade, and Riku, while he does have such an ability, is still, you know, firmly caked in darkness, and therefore wouldn't have the same sort of powers and abilities that Sora would have in terms of sealing and unlocking keyholes. So again, it does kind of say to me that I think a Keyblade wielder of years past might have been here. I would like to postulate maybe someone from the Union Cross era, but again, there's no way of knowing for certain. But I do think that this mansion will come up at some point in a future Kingdom Hearts game. Well, maybe. I mean, it's entirely possible, but we can't really say for sure. They seem to be currently occupied in the concept of alternate universes and alternate timelines and just a bunch of fuckery that later games in the series would later confuse. But on top of all of this, we also have a few more pieces of the puzzle, namely in this case, the goal of the Nobodies. Well, the goal of the Nobodies and Organization 13 at the very least. They're not evil necessarily, so again, they're not looking to eat people's hearts or, to take over the world or anything, they just want to become complete people. Again, as Ansem's reports postulated, and as Diz's racism seems to imply, again, they want to become complete people. They might be able to feel, think, and, seemingly have hearts of their own, but, well, they lack such a thing and can only really emulate based on memories. There is a bit of a caveat to this, again, as you've no doubt seen with Luxine's sadism, Axel seemingly having some brotherly feelings for Roxas. But, yeah, it's part of an elaborate lie, and is a bit of a plot point that people come to complain about, circa Dream Drop Distance, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But, yeah, even in this game, as one of the Nobodies we'll face will begin to tell us, not all is what it seems. And, yeah, now we finally get some armor, the Elven Bandana. No, Roxas isn't going to be rocking gang colors and teaming up with Pence to form a rap duo. No, instead he's just going to have a slight bit of protection. Not that it really matters, since you'll be getting some better shit throughout the game, and I think, at least at this point, you should be pretty pimped out as Roxas as is, but I don't know. Only a mat. I wonder how that table did break, actually. I don't know, maybe we'll find out in Kingdom Hearts 4. Or we won't. Or maybe it was Christopher Lee having another nobody rant where they don't have a right to know. I really wish I could do a goddamn good impression of him, I'm sad. Well, then again, Christopher Lee's voice itself is also kind of a one-of-a-kind kind of thing. Like, I mean, even Corey Burton, who is a voice actor that I admire to death for not only his range of voice roles, but for his near-pinpoint Christopher Lee impression, you can still tell that it's him, but goddamn, the man gets it so close that he's got my respect. Also, depending on which room you go into, if you go into the other one beforehand, I think you can explore around and get a few things. Except for, well, us. We're not going to be seeing it. Also, check out the nice decor. So yeah, I think you could have explored around this room, but sadly, yeah, I triggered the cutscene, so that's a no-go. But now we need to complete this symbol that Roxas just knew how to complete. And if you take a quick look, we have our three symbols. Heartless, Nobody, and of course, the crown. For Kingdom Hearts. Is Roxas truly the prince of the Kingdom Hearts? Who knows? Actually, we do see a unicorn statue here, so, I wonder if maybe a foreteller had resided here. I mean, it's possible. Yeah, and that was actually kind of the thing that initially inspired me. Because again, to kind of delve into Kingdom Hearts-y spoilers here, one of the foretellers the foretellers themselves take the form of different animal representatives, and one of them was a unicorn. The one who was meant to be the supposed leader in the wake of the Master of Masters' disappearance, so... I wonder. But unfortunately, it's here where Roxas begins to discover the whole truth about his origins, and, yeah, it's where the game's tragedy begins to ramp up significantly, because on top of basically being somebody who was hated from the moment he was created, with no idea what he was doing or why he even existed at all, yeah, now he also has to deal with everything that went down. 3 for that over 2 days does kind of delve into this a little bit more and adds a light peppering of even more tragedy, but yeah, we show that Roxas was part of Organization 13, obviously, given his friendship with Axel and the fact that he at least fought Riku at some point. And yeah, happier days when all the Organization members were there, united under a goal, and well, we get the somber theme of Organization 13. One of my personal favorites, actually. It creates a really melancholy atmosphere, and Yoko Shimomura, you have more than earned your paycheck, my lady. You are fantastic. Now, it is kind of funny looking at Roxas in the Organization seats, because it looks a bit big for him. It kind of seems like he needs a booster seat or something.
Shut up!
Will it work?
If we can maintain the simulated town, until Namine finishes chaining together Sora's memories.
What will happen to Roxas?
He holds half of Sora's power within him. In the end, he'll have to give it back. Until then, he'll need another personality to throw off his pursuers.
Poor thing.
It's the fate of a nobody.
Now that I think is heartbreaking. Again, he was used as a puppet, and... my heart. And also it seems something happened in that battle that, killed Riku, and in his place, Ansem took over. Which again, is still tragic as all hell. They basically hid him in this virtual world to hide him from the organization, and everything that he experienced here, you know, his friendship with Haina, Pence, and Let, again, the struggle tournament, Cypher... his entire life, really. Even, I suppose, his parents that would have had to have been altered in his memories. Or fake. Like, I mean, this could have been an entire game in and of itself, but... again, it just had the unfortunate instance to be a Kingdom Hearts 2 prologue, where, again, all paths lead to Sora, so... yeah. And as we're soon going to be seeing, well, Roxas' connection to Sora is just the piece de resistance on the tragedy cake. Yes indeed, Tragedy Cake, available now, $9.95 at your local French bakery. No doubt cooked up by Monsieur David Cage. But yeah, we're pretty much... this is pretty much the endgame at this point, and soon we'll be facing off against a dear old friend in a battle of the heroes. Or nobody, as one might say.
Simply amazing, Roxas.
Axel.
You really do remember me this time. I'm so flattered! But you're too late!
I was admittedly a little bit rusty when fighting against Axel. Again, well, it had been a while since I got into a full-fledged combat scenario like this. Because I would say that this is probably the game's first real boss fight, like, I mean, no more fucking tutorializing here. But again, you do get to use some pretty interesting combos. For example, Roxas has both Oblivion and Oathkeeper, as we saw in the secret ending of KH1. And again, this is basically meant to represent Roxas and Sora's two friends, Riku and Kairi, as you could no doubt tell. And again, this makes for a pretty nice and intense boss fight, and you might be wondering why they'd throw something like this at you so early into the game, especially with this sick as hell reaction command. And that's because Axel was initially meant to die at this point. Like, I mean, again, he was pretty much a holdover from Chain of Memories, and this would have finished him off. But because the dev team liked his character so much, Tetsuya Nomura basically kept him on and gave him a much bigger role and kept him alive until the end of the game. Or perhaps he will live again. But a nobody has no right to live, as Christopher Lee would tell us. But yeah, it's a pretty intense fight, although again, even at my level, he can catch you off guard a little bit, and that's dangerous, so yeah, Axel has kind of earned his position as an assassin. But in any case, I'll leave you to witness the last moments of Axel and Roxas together.
You get on their bad side and they'll destroy you!
No one would miss me.
That's not true. I would.
Axel.
Let's meet again in the next life.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
Silly. Just because you have a next life.
So yeah, it's actually kind of creepy actually because, well again, we obviously know a lot more about Nobodies now at this point in the series compared to later on, but considering the fact that Sora seems to still be around for Roxas to have some form of connection, like, is the implication that Axel's physical body no longer exists? Like, is his Heartless still running around, or... I don't know. It's a very scary thought, and again, I do really love the Nobody concept, as I probably prattled on about in Chain of Memories, but... yeah. Also, this could have been a potential way out for Roxas. But the power of darkness prevents entry, so if that darkness barrier wasn't there, Roxas could have quite easily escaped the digital world. But alas, he lacks the access, so we pretty much gotta face the cards that were dealt. And again, as we look across the row of memory pods, again, there weren't that many there. Like, I mean, all Diz and Naminé needed to transport was Donald and Goofy, but even then, there seems to be a lot more in this facility than what we're initially led to believe, so... I'm curious, actually. Like, I mean, the power isn't on as Roxas will come to examine some of these memory pods, but... yeah. It's kind of a wonder as to who else was sleeping here and exactly where they are now. But yeah, this is pretty much where... it's kind of weird, actually. Like, they toss Donald and Goofy off into the fucking shed while Sora gets, like, the big-ass memory pod that he gets to sleep in, so... I don't know. In any case, though, prepare for the waterworks, and again, if you liked Roxas as a character, then this will probably make you cry, but, yeah. It was always going to end this way, as he is, in fact, the nobody of Sora. But I have a feeling that Roxas may leave an impression on our budding companions, well, rather nicely. So, on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and, welcome to the game good and proper, son.
At last, the Keyblade's chosen one.
Who are you talking to? Me? Or Sora?
To half of Sora, of course. You reside in darkness. What I need is someone who can move about the realm of light and destroy Organization 13.
Why? Who are you?
I am a servant of the world. And if I'm a servant, then you should consider yourself a tool at best.
Was that supposed to be a joke? 'Cause I'm not laughing!
My apologies. This is only a data-based projection. Come, over here.
I hate you so much.
You should share some of that hatred with Sora. He's far too nice for his own good.
No! My heart belongs to me! Sora. You're lucky. Looks like my summer vacation is over.